Welcome to l'appartement. The exhibition is called Convergent Lines. It's a group exhibition that brings together painting, sculpture and design objects of Marius Ritiu, of Jojo Corväiá and of Maarten Vrolijk in collaboration with Objects with Narrative, and the paintings of Brazilian artist Mariana Oushiro. What connects all these artists together is a shared approach towards organic forms, architecture, and also this tension between spontaneity and structure. In this first room, we see the sculptural objects of Romanian artist Marius Ritiu. He works with copper. Copper being a very symbolic material, not only because it's the main material that we use in modern transportation and communication. So it's a material that has made the transportation and the flow of goods, of ideas and of people much easier. And Marius, his work really explores this idea of nationhood, of immigration and of collective identity. But copper also, in ancient alchemy, is one of the materials linked to the cosmos and the universe. So, for example, silver is linked to the moon, gold to the sun, and copper to Venus. A starting point for this body of work was a book that Marius read, written by an astronaut, who talks about this feeling and this sensation of looking at the Earth and the cosmos from a macro level. All of these works feel a bit alien, like otherworldly, like they come from another universe. Familiar, but also strange. This specific work, for me, it looks like it came out of Mars. And I think what is interesting with Marius choosing copper as his primary medium is also a way of him to say and express that we're all interconnected, that everything in the cosmos comes from the same source. So looking at the paintings in the room, they're all by Mariana Oushiro, Brazilian painter, born in 1992 and based in New York. She always works in these kind of large-scale compositions, always paints with a canvas on the floor. It's a work that is a lot about rhythm and about energy, spontaneity, but also structure, color and forms coming together. Mariana, when she paints, she uses her whole body and she activates all of her senses. In a way, she puts music, and the way her formal process is almost like mimicking a ritual or a dance. It has this choreographic kind of element to it, and it's something that we can see in the canvas because we can trace her footsteps. Mariana paints using her hands, but also her knees and her feet, and it's something that we can really feel throughout the canvas. So it's works that are filled with energy. They are very often psychological landscapes, so they are representations of the Brazilian landscape very often, but also they are transmitters of emotions. And we could say that, for me, looking at these works, I feel that they are the most kind of subjective and emotional response to a landscape. We can trace, inspirations of modernism. We can see, for example, Calder, not only in the shapes, but also I think the fact that what Mariana is unique is that her paintings are kinetic, much like Calder's sculpture was, in the sense that we feel them coming to life with movement. And I think the interesting thing about positioning her work in this room together with Marius and Jojo Corväiá in the other room is that although with the sculptures and the design objects they have this static presence, Mariana's work is filled with movement, and it's like the room coming alive and she's activating the objects. So in this second room we have the paintings of Mariana in conversation with the ceramic objects and sculptures by Venezuelan artist Jojo Corväiá. All these works are made in volcanic clay and glaze. His work is, if we could summarize it, we could say that it's about freedom of expression, it's about imperfection, and it's about abstraction. Whether we're looking at the ceramics or we're looking at his sculptures, the works are really kind of reflections of the self. They're deeply personal, and they are like diary pages that record memories, emotions, and fragments of time. His practice is very honest and raw, and it's a lot about imperfection. So Jojo says that if something is to be real, it has to be imperfect. So we can really see the accident as part of the work. Much like in nature, nothing is perfect, yet everything is whole and balanced. These objects are as much contemporary as they are archaic. It's like they carry a kind of humanity's DNA. We look at them and we think of prehistoric Cycladic vessels, corals washed out of the sea, or how the soil and the ground changes after lava has taken over it. This third room is called La Suite. It's a new initiative where it runs in parallel with our main exhibition program, and where 3 times a year we are positioning in dialogue kind of rare and historical post-war and contemporary artworks sourced from the secondary market. They're often rarely or never before seen publicly. For this first iteration, we have the works of Yannis Kounelis, Dada Maino, Oliver Mosé, Leonard Fujita, in dialogue with the objects and the lamps of Maarten Vrolijk. Maarten Vrolijk is a prolific artist and designer with over 25 years of experience. He works in many mediums. Here we see glass and ceramic. And I would say what sits at the core of his practice, whether that's in ceramic or glass, is the purity of the materials. It's always about the form coming out from the earth, but rather than imitating reality and imitating nature, Maarten uses color and shape and materials in an unexpected way to create something completely new. So he works almost like an alchemist, and he talks about the element of surprise and of letting the material and the process guide him in an intuitive way, rather than coming with a pre-existing idea. And he always wants to be surprised by the materials and by his own works. He always wants to discover something new and arrive somewhere that he hasn't arrived before. Maarten is perhaps best known for the glass vessels. Here, the form and the colors are created separately. The works are always hand-blown. And then shattered pieces of glass are fused and melted into the glass-blown form, creating this separate texture and separate colors that we see. This is a relatively new body of work that Maarten has been making for the last year. He calls these sculptural lamps blooming terra. It's a very kind of handmade process, from the stitching on the jute to the patterning and the layering on the ceramic. And they're also very, very earthy. Much like Jojo's work, they look like they came out of an excavation from the sea or straight from the earth. For the jute, Maarten hand paints it, and then he works with someone that stitches it with the hand, so it has this very tactile quality. And looking at these works, I can see a sculpture, a painting, but all combined in an object that has utility, a lamp.